Now, South Africa has bid farewell to Archbishop Desmond Mpilo Tutu at the St. George's Cathedral in Cape Town. Let's speak to Reverend Alvin Sigamoney from the Anglican Diocese of Natal. Reverend, good afternoon and thank you very much for your time. What a beautiful service that we witnessed today, so powerful in its modesty, wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely. You know, it was very uplifting, moving, and just appropriate for the Archbishop. It didn't have too much of glory and trims. It was a typical Anglican Requiem Mass that we have. So it was, you know, one of the things with the Arch and our interaction and with him, when he entered the room, before he even spoke, there was this awe in the room, and he didn't have to command any respect. Everybody kept quiet and just waited till one of his chuckles or something took place. Yeah.
I suppose because his work spoke for him, so he actually was a man who, when he walked into a room, what he stood for was what then defined him. But I noted something very important that the former dean said today. I know he affectionately called himself the number 222, and others also referred to him like that. He said the cure for grief is to grieve. How important is grieving? Because some Christians are far too brave. I mean, we always hear that, or hear from them, that it is the Lord's will, and then they take it as it is. But how important is it, even in the Christian faith, to grieve?
It's absolutely important. I know, I'm trying to remember now, there's a book that talked about, I've got the notes somewhere, 5 stages of grieving.
Yes.
And, you know, when you lose something, and in fact, the one time I read, it doesn't matter if you lose a loved one, but sometimes you might lose something, like even a pen that's very important to you. And it happened to me. And, you know, I was lost till I found it. And so that grieving process, and this is what life is about. It's about we processing all our feelings and emotions inwardly, and finding the hope and finding the results I want to say bounce back. Yeah, because that's what I experience with many things. I begin to then bounce back. It's like you're playing a game of soccer and you fall down and, you know, you got to get up again. Yeah, so there is that process. So I have seen people who kind of, it's like they're not grieving at all, but that's not the real situation. Yeah, then they're not in the real world.
And we all know that it's not a linear process, or at least psychologists have told us that it's not going to be linear. Grief is also very personal. So you can go through anger and then denial, and then at some point you accept, and then you back again. And that is a process that you must allow. It's personal to everybody. But then beyond this, you are a man that received your diploma in theology from the Archbishop, at the St. Paul's College. And we've heard several people speak of how well versed he was in the theological doctrines of the Christian faith. Talk to us about your experience of the Arch insofar as theology is concerned.
Well, yeah, I first met him in 1986 when he came to our diocese, the Anglican Church, Church Square, St. Paul's in Durban, with late Dr. Alan Payton, and the youth gathered on the Friday evening and he addressed us. And then on the Saturday, he met with, it was a workshop for the youth leaders. And he had known my great uncle, who was the first Indian Anglican priest sent to Johannesburg. And so he called me by my surname, But being at college, I was there from 1990 to 1992. And so one of his portfolios was to visit us, the student body, at some time. And it was on the cards, and then something else came up, and he had to fly overseas. And the student body was very disappointed. So they drafted a letter and sent it to his PA and all that. And then he found the time to come and visit us and be with us. And we sat in what we call the common room, we were all sitting. And he greeted us and he said, why are you all acting like you are abandoned children? Don't you know you have God as your father? So, and then in 1993, I went to receive my diploma. That was the awards, and I was honored to receive my diploma from him, from the Arch.
Mm-hmm. Actually,
but I was ordained with...
You can continue.
Sorry, I was ordained by Bishop Michael Nuttall back in 1992 and 1993. We get priesthood at deacon first, and then priest. And just to say that Bishop Michael, I'm so glad when I saw, and I wasn't too surprised that he was going to preach. And as he started off, what does the Lord require? To do justice, to love kindness, and to humbly walk with your God. And then he drew from the three P's of the Arch being a prophet, and yes, pastor and a prayer warrior. Yeah. So and then Bishop Michael ended with the praise song, which I thought was most amazing. Yeah.
No, most certainly, most amazing service that we saw today. Those three P's: prophet, yes, pastor, and prayer warrior. Thank you very much, Reverend, for sharing your moments. You can speak, Reverend.
Just to conclude, what was also very moving to see the politicians, the state president and the past presidents, and all, and as the president said, they were led by the Church of Category 1 Mfundo, and that was normally when they meet, they call them, address one another, honorable so and so. But I think today it was the Arch funeral that brought them to this great honor to pay their respects.
Mm-hmm. And we must certainly, thank you very much, Reverend, and we most certainly do appreciate being taken through the processes of the Anglican Church. And because, honestly speaking, the Arch's life was in the Church. His advocacy started from the Church, as he famously said, that he gets his mandate from God.